This is one of the few prequel sequels that looks like it belongs. Let's discuss why. Chase Lee Hockey here with the Blue Futon reviewing the first Omen. What's about? Pretty simple premise. That thing right there, the Omen collection, not the Leaf Schreiber one from I think 2006. This is a prequel to that movie where Damien came from, so he is the first Omen. And we are in Rome, 1971, with all these cast and characters figuring out who's living, who's dying, who's giving birth to the devil or the Antichrist, the devil's son, if you want to put it that way. So, did I like this movie? I actually did. All right, when comparing this to Immaculate, watch the first Omen 10 out of 10 times. The first Omen has better looks, better scares, better acting, better cinematography, better editing, better story. It's a better overall looking film. Yes, there are some issues with some of the stories and character acting where it's supposed to be scary and it actually makes people laugh. And I don't think that's the right route to go. But we'll talk about the later half. But when talking about this movie, it does a lot right. I think the biggest win for this movie is the aesthetics, cinematography, and just the look of the movie. And what I mean by that, I kind of get tired. Of course, you have these movies that came out in the 70s and 80s, right? Nothing wrong with that. But then you have sequels that are prequels in today's day and age. So you look at a movie from the 70s, then you look at these sequels or prequels that come out today that are supposed to be based in the 50s or 60s, and it looks shinier. It looks newer. It doesn't look as raggedy as it's supposed to. Like, it looks more futuristic than a 70s version. That's incorrect. This one, it feels like the director, the producers knew exactly, like, you know what? This is a prequel to the original film, so we gotta make it look like a prequel. Have the look, the camera movement, the aesthetics, and it looks like that. And I cannot be happier enough because of that. Because that is a huge pet peeve of mine. There's a couple things, and this is one with movies where I understand you want to have nostalgia and bring back people and, bring back franchises, which is fine. But you got to remember when the movies came out, 60s, 70s, 80s, you cannot use today's technology and make it a prequel to a 70s movie. You just can't do that. Here, it's very minimal CGI. Yes, you have some car crashes, you have some fire effects. Sure, I'm not going to fault that. But the camera movement, the editing, the look, the feel, and I think that's the main thing. It's the feel of the movie that feels like it's made in 1971. Yes, it looks a little digital in some scenes. Yeah, completely agree. But just made me happy with that. The acting. I would need to know how they did it because, like I said, I haven't seen the first Omen in quite some time. I swear to God, that's the same actor. I need to know how they did it. It's probably not the same actor, of course, but my God, I need to rewatch this one ASAP Rocky. So before I go into the negatives, because like I said, I feel like the director wanted to make this movie. She was invested because I think she wrote it as well. So I applaud her for doing what she wanted to do. Really good job. So now before I go into the negatives, let's talk about movie theater etiquette. Two things. These two people behind me wouldn't shut the fuck up. These chicks just would not shut up. I mean, not a single scene of the movie went by and they weren't talking like, oh, hell no, bitch. What you doing? What are you doing that for? And saying other shit would make, like, how people make fun of Trump for what he said behind closed doors. These chicks say things 100 times worse. I was like, damn, like, seriously? Anyway, that's number one. Number two, I don't know if it's a language barrier, but let's just say a Hispanic family came in, about 7 of them, 2 adults, 5 kids. The youngest one was probably 4. Then you have like a 7-year-old, then a 9-year-old, and maybe an 11-year-old, and something else. Like, the range was pretty even, but there was a small 4-year-old. And I'm just like, you're taking them to an Omen movie? Okay. Of course, they dip in 10 minutes. Not because of the sexualness of it, because there really isn't no sexuality in this. There's themes of it, but there's a scene where a pole comes down and some blood scenes, which then they leave the movie theater, and I'm just like, what the fuck are you thinking? Like, are people that stupid nowadays? Like I said, it could be a language barrier, but still, I hate to say, Hispanics are really into religious movies like this, so you fucking know. So there's that. All right, so let's talk about some of the negatives about the movie. And I do think some of the pacing, people say it was sluggish in the first half, sure, but I really didn't fault it for it. Like I said, I think the biggest thing when just thinking about the movie is the main girl's acting is good throughout, but it gets to these weird character plots or subplots that kind of, I wouldn't say connect, especially there's one where a girl lights herself on fire and you're just like, and it's a continuing theme, but I just don't understand exactly what her theme is, because there's themes of her licking her, but then there's also themes that come to that of other things licking. So it's like, was she a child of the devil and she's just that messed up, or is she trying to protect? I don't know. That's something I probably need to rewatch or have someone say, Chase, you're an idiot. This is why it's there. Sure, why not? And there's something that happens after a car wreck. And I'm just going to say, I don't know if the acting / the way the director wanted it to make it look scary and oh shit, like possession's about to happen. But it didn't feel right. Like, just in the spur of the moment, it felt, I want to say overly long, but just felt uneven on that level. And then I'm curious, because the producer said this was like very close to being NC-17. I don't get it. They were saying it was the very end birthing scene. I just don't see that being NC-17. I kind of need to see the NC-17 version to what they actually took out. I think the more effed up one was the one that happened before that, about the 45-minute mark. That one I was like, oh, we're going there. And it did cut at the right moment, but if it's a birthing scene that I'm thinking about and there says the ending bombastic one, I think it's the first one that made me go, oh, I could see where this is kind of messed up, because of the angles and what's coming out and some imagery, some crowning. You're like, oh, but I'm pretty sure we've seen crowning in Knocked Up anyway, so what's the fucking difference? But yeah, so there was that. So the NC-17 thing, I just need to know, I need to talk to this MPA board to see how stupid they actually are. But overall, if you're looking to watch the first Omen or Immaculate, first Omen is a better movie through and throughout, especially with some of the scares, the look, and the overall feel of the movie. Yes, some cheesy moments in this movie, especially with some of the acting and some of the subplots of the scares that you're just like, okay, but how does that connect overall? And I do wish they did a little bit more backstory of this, because they really wanted to bring the first one in, but I wish they connected it just a little bit more or added some new stuff to understand what is actually occurring. But yes, pleasantly surprised with this movie. Wasn't expecting it to be this good, but wow, I really did enjoy myself with the first Omen. So the first Omen will receive a 4 out of 5 with Futons, which equals at 80%. So let's see the critics and user scores gave this one. So you have critics at 84% with 64 of them. No audience score yet. This is good. Frequently frightening, even as it plays within the confines of a nearly 50-year-old film series. This prequel is first omen of a bright future for the franchise in quite some time. I have to agree. I hope they don't make a sequel to this. They can't. They literally can't, because it's a perfect shoe-in. So this one and done, to me, it works overall. I am curious about the director. What has she done? This is her first movie. Congratulations. I will watch anything she does after this. So 80, is it 85 or 84? Anyway, one says 85, one says 84, so it's 84-80. Chase Lock here at the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Oh no, thanks, Futontopia. You Blue Futoners, think watch a great day. I don't care watch this today, tomorrow, a week from now, a month, or a year from now, every single freaking one of you. And like I said, I'm giving you a round of applause for this one.